Boy, you better cut this off. I ain't about to watch no more of this.
Global Gang!
Welcome to Global Gang! Yes! I am so excited to have you here today. Global Gang is a place where we can discuss important social issues from around the world in fun and engaging ways. I'm your host, DC Lewis, and before we get to the fun, let's talk about blackface.
Blackface is a form of theatrical makeup used by non-black performers to darken their skin since 1830 as a tool of ridicule and dehumanization of black people for centuries, and was meant to justify the subjugation of African people around the world. It contributed to the spread of racial stereotypes and characters, from Jim Crow to the Sambo, and its presence has not gone away. In fact, doing blackface has gone viral in recent years.
Literally doing blackface in the middle of the store.
Lester Holt did whiteface, nobody said shit. Where's your pride section? I need to know!
I want to ask you something because I've been, over the last couple of days, calling makeup artists, and I was going to do a response to this and like go and do like the full on
Darker?
yeah, and do it and just do it back, because why not?
Yeah.
Like, are we on the same playing field? Like,
Where the f my food stamps at? Hey, y'all niggas hate black people for real.
So influencer Brittany Venti just went full 1800s this Halloween, painting her face jet black, holding a box of fried chicken, and captioning it "When that EBT hit."
But now, what initially started as an American phenomenon has spread across the entire world to the most unlikely places. So, today,
When you gonna stop talking?
Whoa! Look, guys! It's our good friend, Granddaddy Brown! Thanks for joining us on the show, Granddad.
Nigga, hurry this shit up. I ain't got all day. Don't forget now, you supposed to drop me off to the store after to get my scratch-offs. Since they done took my license and shit.
Okay. Silly Granddad. What is he talking about?
What are you doing?
What?
Can we just like can you just do this for me, please? Just I just really need this. Like, this is all I got. You know what I mean? Just please, just
Nigga, I ain't even got time. I'm out.
okay.
I'm gone.
All right, I'm going.
So, Granddad, your wisdom and experience will be invaluable to us on today's show. In this episode, we're going to talk about blackface across the entire world, the historical context surrounding it, and why blackface continues to exist in our modern times. Sound good?
Japanese. Blackface!
All right, we're going to need some context for our first example, as there are some misconceptions surrounding it. It's called Ganguro.
Down to what?
Ganguro is like, they actually kind of look like black. Is it racist to say black ones?
これ変身のタイミングはいつなんですか？例えばこのまま電車乗って埼玉県に入ると急に
Ganguro, which translates to burnt black look, was a style of fashion among young Japanese women that peaked in popularity in the 90s and early 2000s, but has evolved in various ways. Ganguro developed from an earlier fashion trend known as gyaru, Gyaru started as a rebellious style of dress that pushed back against the gender expectations of 1970s and 80s Japan, where women were expected to be housewives, have pale skin, and dark hair. Ganguro continued that trend, but was also influenced by famous black women of the 90s, such as Lil' Kim, Mary J. Blige, and British fashion model Naomi Campbell. Now, adopters of Gyaru and Ganguro stress that their style is not connected to American conceptions of blackface or intended to harm or even imitate black people in any way. However, there are some who use the Gyaru aesthetic in order to look like their favorite rapper or black celebrity by tanning their skin, weaving their hair into cornrows, dreadlocks, or braids. This style is known as B-Gyaru.
外人さんには結構やっぱかっこいいんで、すごい憧れますね。あ、これでしょ？これ。これめっちゃ可愛い。バービーみたい。ダサいよね。日本人着ると。外人着るとかっこいい。服カルチャーもリスペクトみたいな感じなんですけど、やっぱ音楽とファッションとダンスはもう日本人じゃないっぽくするっていう感じもあるかなとは。
ひなは週に一度は日焼けサロンに通っています。
いらっしゃいませ。マシンとお時間の方は
30分でお願いします。
お会計2100円になります。今日本日お部屋の方が5番になります。
はい。でこれが日焼けジェルなんで、これを体に塗って、それをやってからマシンに入ります。
B-Gyaru still exists today. However, this form of blackface, even if it's meant to show appreciation for black culture, still stems from a long history of fetishizing blackness or reducing it to a set of stereotypes.
All right, so we'd love to get your perspective on what we learned, Granddad. What do you think?
You know that's y'all generation they trying to act like, right? If you mad, you ain't got no one to blame but yourselves. Hanging your pants down low, wearing them long-ass nails about to poking their eye out, saying the N-word all the time.
You just said it. Huh? You just said it. You said it, I mean, multiple times at this point.
Oh. Well, I say it every now and again, but not like y'all. Y'all call everything Nick. Y'all done said it so much, you done got it calculated in my brain. I can't get it out.
So it's our fault that you say it all the time?
Exactly. Now you got it.
All right.
And that ain't no real blackface. That's how them white girls be looking. When they trying to get a tan, they be all laid out. Looking crazy.
Actually, I know what you're talking about, yeah. And then they come back to work the next day like, oh my God, I'm darker than you.
And I bet you be like, uh-huh, yes you is. You know you be smiling for them white girls, boy. Cheesing.
When have you ever seen me do that?
I ain't gotta see it, I know. Granddaddy Brown, no.
Okay, so you're not bothered by any of this at all?
Boy, hell no. This generation too sensitive. You're gonna just show me something worse than that to get me. I've been on this earth a long time. I done seen a lot, and a lot seen me. I've been through things, I've seen the change, a hit story. From the Civil Rights Act of 64 to the beating of Rodney King. It's gonna take a whole lot to shock me, boy. I done seen everything.
Where you going? Where's he going?
I done seen everything. I done seen everything. You know them streets done made me, boy. It's gonna take a lot to face me, boy. Cause I done seen everything. I done seen everything. Sing it with me now. I done seen everything. I done seen everything. Cause what the hell?
つうかさ、ダンボどこにそれ行ったらそんな黒くなれんの？渋谷のツタヤの。あ、ガム食べる？グリーンガムだけど。ファー！ガムはブラックガムしか食べねえっつっただろ。
覚えとけよ。まあまあまあ、コーヒーでも飲みません？ラテ買ってきますよ、ラテがコーヒーはブラックが飲まねえっつったろよ。おめえら何でも白いもの入れいいと思ってマイコと同じだな。何でも白臭いと思ってな。大体あいつも何なんだよ。青ってお前は黒なんだよ、黒。
つうかうちらガングラブとか言ってっけどガングルギャルじゃなくね？行き過ぎでしょ。
黒力私たちガングルギャルだよね。そうやってみんな力ってここに来たんだよね。ねえみんなねえ。あんたオバマの言葉忘れたの？チェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジチェンジ Yes we go Yes we go Yes we go Yes we go うちらはガングロ母ちゃん黒パキはナンクロクソはドクロ Yes we go 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 ジョインだ
Japan's first exposure to blackface was in 1853. A U.S. naval captain named Matthew Perry began trade negotiations with the reigning government of Japan, at that time, the Tokugawa shogunate. Now, Japan had been incredibly isolationist by that point, closed off to outside trade for hundreds of years, under a foreign policy known as sakoku, or a locked country. So, Perry was stuck. He needed to figure out a way for America to form diplomatic relations with a country that wanted nothing to do with it. But he was a wild boy, to say the least, the perfect man for the job, so he came up with a plan. This is the original map of the Japanese coastline that Perry drew before his pivotal meeting with their government in Tokyo Harbor. Using a method known as gunboat diplomacy, Perry sailed his warships into the Edo Bay, pointed cannons at the coastline, and demanded an audience with the high-ranking officials. And it worked. Turns out people will listen to you if you threaten to blow them up. But Perry also felt that a wide showing of American entertainment would contribute to successful trade negotiations with Japan. So he presented a, quote, exhibition of Negro minstrelsy, featuring a group of blackface performers known as the Niggas of the South. Yeah. A crew member described the event as such. The Commodore said the success of his treaty depended upon the success of the entertainment, so we did our best. The Japanese commissioners were brought back on deck to witness a performance by an Ethiopian band of the Powhatan, who styled themselves Japanese minstrels. Another crew member stated, when the sable gentlemen made their appearance, a murmur of astonishment arose among our simple guests. Woolly heads, ruffled shirts, and usual parts of a darky band were truly new sights to them. This marked a pivotal moment in the history of American minstrelsy, where blackface is explicitly exported to further American colonial interests on a global scale.
South Korean. Blackface.
Oh, nah, wait, hold on. Let me go back.
Well, come on now.
Just
drag this
hold
out.
on. Bro, they gave her the hair curlers and everything? Wow. That's disrespectful. Wow. Oh no. And they're tap dancing now. That's not a good sign. That's never a good sign. Oh no. Yo, they kind of getting it. I'm not gonna lie. They got a little something. They got a little something. Yeah, no.
hot day.
You singing, but you don't even know what they saying. Monkey, monkey.
The song we reacted to is from a K-pop group from the early 2000s called the Bubble Sisters, and blackface became a core part of their aesthetic in the beginning of their careers. The Bubble Sisters believed that they were not as pretty as other K-pop stars and claimed to sing as well as African Americans while looking, quote, as ugly as African Americans. This music video for their lead single Bubble Song is similar to certain aspects of Bigyaru, using stereotypes of the physical and cultural features of black women in an attempt to rebel against the status quo of their own societies. However, while the misguided intention of Bigyaru was to show appreciation for black culture, the Bubble Sisters meant to insult it. And blackface in Korea is not new, as multiple Korean comedians regularly performed in blackface skits on television for decades. In 2015, a singer from the boy band Highlight appeared on television in blackface with an afro wig while eating watermelon. Okay, really? Come on.
그래도 마이클 분장하고 시키는 대로 다 했다.
Or in May 2020, when a group of South Korean high school students sparked controversy after dressing in blackface for their school yearbook. Or in 2024, when a group of streamers cosplayed as their favorite animated character, and one of them decided to dress up as Michael, a character from the Korean animated series Dooley the Little Dinosaur. Michael's character is often criticized or ostracized by others in his neighborhood due to his appearance, and the original intention of his inclusion in the show was to highlight the discrimination present in South Korea. However, this streamer decided to ignore all of that nuance and somehow managed to do the exact opposite of the original show's intention. This normalization of minstrelsy is symptomatic of larger systemic and xenophobic issues in South Korea. Numerous South Korean policies have been criticized as discriminatory, such as allowing establishments to have a no foreigner policy and keep non-Koreans from entering.
But in South Korea, you might also be refused entry because of where you come from, or even the color of your skin. This is what some expats have been sharing on TikTok in videos that they say reveal discrimination. We spoke to 5 other foreigners in South Korea who said they've had similar experiences. Kirsten Keels is a Black American student living in Seoul. She told us that this discrimination is even worse for people of color.
I went to a pretty popular club in Gangnam 2 years ago. There was a bouncer who looked at my friend who said, "Oh, there's like people in your group that can't come in." And the bouncer like leans forward and he meets eyes with me and he like looks me up and down. And he's like, dress code. It's pretty common to say like, oh, there are too many foreigners, or you can't come in, but then seeing white individuals in the club or being let in or let out.
And being one of the few developed nations without any comprehensive anti-discrimination laws to protect racial or ethnic minorities. Luckily, the cultural climate in South Korea seems to have become more progressive after the death of George Floyd in 2020 and the spread of Black Lives Matter movement, with many younger South Koreans expressing support and empathy for the issues affecting African people around the world. Hopefully, this improved social awareness, along with much needed policy reform, will allow xenophobia in South Korea to continue to decrease.
Colombian blackface.
This is a blackface performance at Barranquilla Festival, one of the largest festivals in Colombia. The carnival itself is a beautiful fusion of Spanish, African, and indigenous music and dance, and began as a holiday created by the enslaved population of Colombia during the 19th century. And ironically, this form of blackface is meant to be a celebration of African freedom from Spanish colonization, and these performers are meant to be freed slaves taunting and rebelling against their slave owners.
Nos pintamos de negro para así demostrarle a los blancos que ellos no son los únicos que tienen el poder. Les sacamos la lengua para hacerle burla de libertad, porque ellos nos tenían como esclavos. Los blancos eran los que mandaban.
I might be the only person here who finds it a little bit problematic, because everybody else seems to be cool with it.
O sea, están representando al negro, la raza negra. Y ustedes saben que es un aporte muy importante que hicieron a nuestra cultura.
Pues es su tradición, los negritos puloy. Entonces, no me parece incómodo.
Nosotros sí nos consideramos negros, podemos tener muchos aquí el color claro, pero somos de descendencia africana, porque nosotros somos una mezcla trienia, africano, indio y español. Como nosotros tenemos esa piel negra, para hacerles homenaje tenemos que preparar polvo mineral con aceite de cocina, para pintarse la piel, que se vea bien negra, para hacer el homenaje bien hecho a esa descendencia africana.
The footage you're seeing here is from journalist Simeon Brown, and if you want to watch his full video, which I highly recommend, the link is in the description. But in the video, he interviews Professor Sergio Masquera, a specialist in Afro-Colombian history, who explains why this tradition is still problematic, even if it's being performed by descendants of slaves.
Aunque los movimientos corporales, la expresividad del baile es de esencia africana, la forma como lo representan es de una esencia salvaje, de una esencia selvática.
Many of the people we saw wearing blackface and performing this dance were Afro-Colombian young men. Why were they doing that?
Uno de los problemas grandes que tenemos es que todavía nosotros los afrodescendientes, los afrocolombianos, tenemos el chip de la esclavitud, de la colonización en la mente y no lo hemos descargado porque no hemos recibido una educación para la liberación, sino una educación para la dominación.
Afro-Colombians make up about 35 to 40% of the Colombian population, and about 39% experience extreme poverty. The Colombian government has been heavily criticized for its lack of investment in black communities in the region or any meaningful infrastructure. Most Afro-Colombians live in El Choco, a province in the western coast of Colombia where they face record high levels of poverty and violence. And currently, residents of the area are consistently attacked and terrorized by armed forces as their way of life is destroyed by conflict between the Colombian government, left and right-wing paramilitary groups, and drug cartels over inequality of land distribution and lack of resources in the region. Blackface is again a symptom of a larger systemic illness that infects the country in which the true humanity of Afro-Colombians is diminished and rendered invisible.
Malaysian blackface.
Ana rasa wajah ente mesti secantik dan seindah suara ente. Show me your face. Tunjukkan Ana. Tunjukkan pada dunia. Silakan. Tak sabar Ana nak lihat muka ente yang indah dan cantik itu.
Polish blackface.
Okay, this was a game show where they had to like dress up like different black artists and perform.
He do look like Kanye. I ain't even gonna lie.
Historian blackface. Chinese blackface. Finnish blackface. Guatemalan blackface.
Okay, turns out every country has blackface. Wow. But this whole episode does have me think about why blackface is continuing to persist throughout the world, despite all the education and the awareness that's been built around this issue over the past few decades. I don't know, I feel like blackface, for some, they're doing it out of just a willful ignorance and hatred for black people. But for some people, blackface has weirdly become like a cultural tradition or a beloved character or a cultural symbol that they grew up on. And in a way that makes it sadder and harder to separate from if you grew up on it. And in a weird way, I kind of get it. Like, I like Bugs Bunny, right? He's one of my favorite cartoon characters of all time. Bugs is hilarious, but Bugs be bugging sometimes. Like he be all one.
many stamps today. Give kitties. We'll be blessed if we all invest in the USA. Sammy, my Uncle Sammy.
Yeah, he do be on that bullshit. I love that old bunny though.
Yeah, exactly. And it was hard for me to accept that a character that I grew up on could also like hurt me or be hateful. I had to accept that it's okay to admit when something that you grew up on is problematic or needs to be critiqued or let go of. And I think that this speaks to the way that racism can worm its way into parts of our identities at a young age by infecting the things that we consume, the community that we grew up with and trust, and the world that we see when we walk outside, to the point where we might never feel the need to question it. So, here at Global Gang, we always end the episode with a moral of the story. What's the moral of the story for today's episode, Granddad?
Everybody want to be a but don't nobody want to be a when it's time to be a
Thank you.